Hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be quoting Mr. Dillian Whyte. I'm trying to get a certain Dominic Breazeale because he's the mandatory, even though I'm the #1 challenger, which doesn't make sense. So if I can get him in the ring and have a dust up with him and beat him, then I will become mandatory, and Deontay Wilder will have to stop hiding from me eventually, but we'll see. If that doesn't happen, I need to stay busy because I don't want to sit around and wait 7, 8, 9 months doing nothing. I prefer to keep risking my position and keep fighting. It's dangerous and it's quite frustrating, but I just want to be busy and keep entertaining the fans. It's dangerous and it's quite frustrating, but I just want to keep busy and keep entertaining the fans. Well, this guy just repeated himself in the article. But as you can see, that's what Dillian Whyte had to say. He says that he wants to fight Dominic Breazeale because Dominic Breazeale is the mandatory for Deontay Wilder, and obviously if he beats Dominic Breazeale, that would make him the mandatory, and then that would force Deontay Wilder to fight him, right? Unless the WBC gives Deontay Wilder passes and lets him voluntarily defend his belt against other guys, while having Dillian Whyte sit in the waiting line. You know, as they did with Dominic Breazeale when they had Dominic Breazeale waiting for months. But that's basically what he wants. He wants to put himself in position to be mandatory for Deontay Wilder's WBC belt. And then he says, if that's why he wants to fight Dominic Breazeale. But then he says, you know, if he can't get the Dominic Breazeale fight, he'll just keep fighting because he wants to entertain the fan, and he wants to, and like he admitted himself, this is risky because he could fight somebody, lose, and then because he's, like he said earlier in the piece, he said he's the mandatory, but somehow Dillian Whyte is the #1 mandatory. So yeah, that's something I also don't get. I'm kind of confused by that. But if he loses his next fight, even if he was, you know, whether he was the mandatory, whether he wasn't, if he lost his next fight, you know, Deontay Wilder's not gonna fight him. And that would seriously drop his the amount of money he would receive from Eddie Hearn for the Anthony Joshua fight. That's why I say I think it's really risky for him to be doing that, and I mean to reject that offer that Eddie Hearn offered him to fight him, right? So he's trying to get that Dominic Breazeale fight. Hopefully Deontay Wilder doesn't run from him. You know, if he does become if he does fight Dominic Breazeale, and if he does beat him, hopefully Deontay Wilder or the WBC don't give him passes to avoid or make Dillian Whyte wait on the sidelines. Because, you know, Dominic Breazeale has been in the mandatory position since like 2017, and he still hasn't fought Deontay Wilder. And Dominic Breazeale, in my opinion, is not as big of a threat as someone like Dillian Whyte. So you never know. You know, with these, I always felt that the WBC kind of had Deontay Wilder an easy street, and kind of they let him fight easy fights, because I mean the WBC let Deontay Wilder fight guys like Arthur Spilka, Johan Dupas, Chris Arreola, guys I never heard of, you know. So this is why, and they made him. So this is why I've always felt like maybe they would make him, they will allow him to fight, or you know, against voluntary title defenses against other guys, while having Dillian Whyte wait on the sidelines. Because I think Dillian Whyte thinks he's just going to fight Dominic Breazeale, beat him, and then immediately get a shot at Deontay Wilder. But like I said, Dominic Breazeale has been waiting for months. I mean, I remember a year ago making a video saying he's a mandatory for Deontay Wilder. So I don't know, man. That's what I'm saying. And he really should have taken that fight with Anthony Joshua. But whatever, you know, obviously the other options, if he doesn't get Dominic Breazeale, is Luis Ortiz, Alexander Povetkin, which are great fights, by the way, and are very risky fights. Very risky fights. Those are no guarantee fights. He could lose to either Luis Ortiz or Alexander Povetkin. I give him the highest chance against Dominic Breazeale, just because I think Dominic Breazeale is the weakest guy out of Povetkin and Luis Ortiz. That's just my opinion. I think both of those guys are more talented than Dominic Breazeale. I think Dominic Breazeale is way more one-dimensional. He's way more easier to hit, and he's way more easier basically, to hit, you know, because he has no defense. So let me know what you guys think of this. I mean, do you guys think that this is a good route for Dillian Whyte? What he's trying to do, he's trying to fight for Dominic Breazeale to get himself in a position to fight for Deontay Wilder's WBC title. Let me know in the comment section down below, and subscribe for latest in boxing, guys, and like the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.